okay, this, and I approach the subject gingerly, is in relation to psychopathy, and a psychopath is arguably a character who's not necessarily mentally ill per se, but somebody with something attached to the human condition which is not curable but affects others, in fact, more likely to cause official so-called mental illnesses than any other condition attached to the human psyche. And I was commissioned to chat to this real-life psychopath who was very controlling and insisted on the underscore that you will hear, because he's a great fan of a band I work with called The Fall, which frightens me as well, because I've come at this one, or I came at this one under a completely different name, but he seemed to find out. And the track actually he chose, or his agent in Austria chose, is a track called The Train, which is about the pursuit of power and jumping on a train until you've got the power, but not being able to get off the train, which is a direct reference, in my opinion, to the condition of a psychopath, which is slightly different to a sociopath and a narcissist, because it is a condition that is not curable. If you are a psychopath, apparently, according to researchers at Ipswich Community Radio and Internet TV, it is apparently a condition that will not falter. It will remain at a level that can actually only escalate. A lot of serial killers, in fact most serial killers, are on the high end of psychopathy. I don't read the books, I chat to people, and this chap was very, very frightening in my opinion, because he held a great presence, and at one point during the interview opened up his jacket, a very expensive Italian affair, and he had 3 or 4 different blades, one ensconced in blood. And it was absolutely, deliberately within my focus. It was very frightening. He spoke of his pygmy friends and his son and his rather unusual mother, Bubsy. He referred to me as Bubsy, actually, whilst we were at the Workman's Cafe before the interview began. Very frightening chap, and I've had some pretty strange phone calls and some pretty strange missives coming through. In fact, sometimes I feel he's still in touch with me just through little things appearing on the social media vehicle. He is something of a troll, I believe. Something of a troll, but that's a subject we tackle later. But check this out, because it's the real deal. This chap is a real psychopath, and ashamedly proud, it would appear. Okay, this is the interview, and he thought he caught the train to victory and fame. Is that that?
Hi, Shona here on Ipswich Community Radio. A very serious matter today. You can see it on the internet. Our correspondent wishes to remain anonymous. That's because there's an ongoing case with the psycho involved, because he's interviewing him as he is on bail from his hostel in Salford. The notorious psycho involved is, of course, the legendary Sheridan Coldstream. Check this out.
Thanks, Shona. I'm with my special guest right now. He is originally from Norwich, and his name is Sheridan Coldstream. His first kill was a pair of goldfish at the age of 4, killed 3 cats at 6, and then shot a pellet into a tiger's eye at Dudley Zoo at 15. That was when things started to alarm both his parents and his boyfriend, Jono, who incidentally is a sociopath, but that's another story. Now, I'll start off by asking him a very, very simple question. He calls me Bugsy, I don't know why. I'm too scared to ask him to stop. But anyway, why did you choose 2 goldfish to try?
I think at the time I thought I like fish and I like gold, but the 2 together just set off something in me, and I just felt I had to kill them.
Okay, we'll skip all the other animals. Why shoot a tiger or a pellet gun in the eye in a renowned zoo?
I think the tiger thing was very much exaggerated. I sort of wasn't aiming at the tiger, I was aiming at somebody I wanted to kill, and the tiger got in the way.
Okay, you left excrement on a church door, a lot of excrement that you collected over a period of time, and you also smeared it on the mosaic window. It's not a very nice thing to do, is it, Sheridan?
I was very influenced by Jimmy Boyle, who smeared his prison cell with excrement, and by certain IRA prisoners.
You've raised a lot of money for charities, especially in Uganda. You've built 3 schools, you've written 9 books. You clearly have some empathy, or is it just a challenge?
Well, they use that word sort of bipolar these days, split personality. But I just think really, people have just got a good side and a bad side, and when my bad side comes out, I do things like that. Psychotic. When I'm good, I'm very good, but when I'm bad, I'm terrific.
You got 3 years for beating up a lollipop man, or people, a lollipop. Oh, it was a lady lollipop. A lollipop lady?
Yeah.
Why beat her up? She's a great member of the community, surely doing a very important job.
Well, at that stage, I was actually in my car, and she wouldn't get off the fucking zebra crossing. It was all about, she was trying to get these kids home, and it just set something off in me. I thought, I'm going to kill her.
You set an ambulance on fire, but more bizarrely, you set a fire engine on the station. Was that like a part of your
No,
humour?
that was because my girlfriend left me for a fireman.
Okay, I
Simple as
thought
that,
it was quite a humorous thing, actually, the ironic thing, and also
Think about firemen.
when you caused the ambulance crash, it crashed ironically on a zebra crossing. Deliberate or pure tragicomedy?
Tragicomedy, absolutely. It wasn't planned, but I was glad.
Who influenced you in your tragicomedy?
The tragicomedy I'm influenced by.
Their fists at me, and incidentally, at breakfast, why throw the scrambled egg on the floor? A project, you called it a project.
I think art is very, it's difficult to understand and comprehend, and nobody has done it before, and I thought this is my opportunity.
I quite liked it actually, and when you put the ketchup over it, it was a perfect Union Jack.
I love ketchup. The Union Jack I like the Basque flag, which is like very similar to Union Jack, but it's red, green. I think it's the coolest flag, after the Welsh flag, which has a dragon on it, obviously. That's got to be the coolest flag. But I don't like Welsh people.
And also, you have an obsession with pygmies. You quite like some of them. You've got 3 pygmy friends.
Yeah.
Psychopath pygmy friends.
Yeah. I did spend some time in the jungle and I met pygmies, and I found that they looked up to me a lot, and I like that.
Yeah.
I quite like that. And I think pygmies, cannibals as well.
But I've seen a picture of you with the pygmies, and you look very small. Is that Photoshop, or did you? Okay, very clever. You were very clever at all.
I'm
that.
actually quite tall for, a pygmy lover.
And one of you had a fling with one of the male pygmies.
That's never really been confirmed, and it was a crush more than anything.
Yeah, and he is now in prison for shooting an old man. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Another psychopath.
And I do write to him regularly.
Yeah. So one psychopath attracts another psychopath,
Absolutely.
or do psychopaths not exist? Do you have empathy at all?
Absolutely.
Only to cancer. Only to people with cancerous left
Somebody's
knees.
defenceless enough.
Only to cancerous people. Only to people who have cancerous left knees and school children in Uganda, and the occasional psychopathic pygmy.
Yeah, I can count on how many psychopathic pygmies there are out there, and I like to think that I'm in touch with one of them.
You mentioned that you were partly responsible for your mother's sad demise. We know that she threw herself over a bridge at Chelsea Harbour. Well,
that's what it looked like.
You're saying that. That's definite, because we could be handing this into the cops.
Yeah. Throwing herself off a bridge was, it was a cry for help. It really was, and I loved her, but I hated her as well.
Unfortunately, she missed the water, didn't she, and cracked her head open just next to the water, in front of a family having a picnic.
Yeah.
Not a good look. Not a good look.
That was unfortunate. But that family, I sorted them out financially. They didn't have to report it or anything, so they were happy with that. In the end, money will sort anything.
Do you keep in touch with the Hutchinsons, I believe?
The Hutchinsons, yeah, they're from Swindon, and they were actually. It turned out to be a really, nice family, and the youngest boy, is potentially really psychotic.
Great cartwheeler as well over there.
And he can cartwheel.
Brilliant.
I'm working on his ping pong skills, and he's a top boy.
I've not really.
Zach.
I don't like you very much. I've got to be fair.
Yeah.
Because you threatened my cousin whilst we were wandering around the tea shop. I thought that was unpleasant, and I must now ask you to leave. But thank you very much for taking part.
It's been a pleasure
In this mental health feature
Absolutely.
on
Anything that helps
Ipswich
people's mental
Community
health,
Radio.
I'm up for it.
Oh look! Stop kicking me. That is. Get this guy out of here, please. Can you get him out?
Yeah, okay.
Get the fucker out. Go.
See you later.
All right. Okay.